Alright guys, welcome back to Full Moon Hot Rods. I've been messing with my trunk lid a little bit, trying to get it to work. I hadn't had any of the hardware on it before, but I went ahead and stuck that on. That's pretty simple for us, just bolt on stuff. But I'll show you what I've got. But all it is 2 pins up here in the front. It goes through into your trunk lid, and they just screw in. So that's the whole hinge set up for a Model A. So I put the trunk lid support arm on the side of the trunk lid, got it working, got the latch in it, and now I'm gonna try to put this panel here in the back of the car. It goes in like this. That gives you your part right here that your trunk latch and all hooks on. So this one I've raised the floor up in the car to fit on the 32 chassis. So this one I'm gonna have to cut this panel down across here. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just drop down about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. I'm gonna cut this off, get this part fitting in the car, and then I'll shorten this part and have it where it bolts back in the car. So it'll be actually, instead of one, it'll be 2 pieces now. But that's about the simplest way I know to do it. So let's take this right here, and I'm gonna measure down maybe 2 inches. Take the cut-off wheel, cut it off, and then we'll see if we can get this part to mount back in the car. And it's got some places on it where it's like little imbuches, like where it's been center punched for where the trunk latch is supposed to go. But we'll have to play with all that to see if we can get the trunk lid and all shut and everything. So I don't know how good this is going to work out, because like I said, this is aftermarket panel and aftermarket latch and everything else. And most of the time when you do something like this and it's all aftermarket stuff, it's usually aggravating. But we'll see how good this goes. So all right, let me get this here cut off, and we'll come back and we'll take and start fitting it in there and see how it fits. All right, guys, I'll mark down 1 inch instead of 2 inches from this edge right here down. So I'm gonna take the cutoff wheel, cut that off, and we'll see if we can fit this top part in the car and see how it's gonna fit. All right, there it is cut off. Let's try it in the car and see how it works out. All right, guys, here it is cut down. I had to bend this edge right here on both sides to be able to get it in over the I reckon you call that the rain gutter or whatever. And to set it in like that, my screw holes didn't line up, and I did grind this edge right here a little bit to let this panel slide back for my screw holes to line up. So they had a little bit too much material here on this edge. But let me see if I can get the screws in this, and we'll work with it and see if we can get the deck lid and all that stuff to latch. That's probably going to be the next worst thing with it. So let me see if I can get the screws in it. All right, guys, let me set you up where you can see what's going on. All right, you can see right here, this is not the right shape. It don't have the right bend in it. It's close, but not quite. So I'm gonna have to bend on this thing a little bit to get it back all right. So let me work with this and see if I can do it by hand or if I'm gonna have to take it back off. Okay. So there's an actual screw that goes in here on the side, on both sides. So let me work with them and see if I can get them in. And then these pieces here, they go in there to, it's supposed to center the deck lid when it comes down far as side to side. I don't know how good that's going to work, but we'll give it a go and see. If it don't, we'll do something different. But let me see if I can get these screws in on the sides and see how that works out. All right, guys, there's one of them put in. So I got to put the other one in on the other side, and all it is this little disc-shaped piece and a bolt with a nut on the back side. When it goes through this panel and this panel to help hold it in place. So let me see if I can get this one on, because I got to pull the panel over and get it started. So let me see what I can do with it, and then we'll see if we can work with this latch to get it to work. right, guys. Like I said, this aftermarket stuff, none of it don't really fit the way it should. It gets you close, but you got to bend on it and cut it and shape it and everything else to get it back right. But so we're getting closer. So let's see now if we can get the latch to work out with the trunk lid and get those holes drilled. Because like I say, this piece here's got dimples where it's supposed to go, but the other piece that hooks to this back pan, it's got actual 2 holes drilled in it, but they don't line up with the dimples. So, but this pan is from one company. This piece here's from another company. So we're just gonna have to try to make it all work together. All right, guys, there's a dimple right here, and there's 2 right here for these screws. So I'm gonna line those up, just set it in place like that. And then what I'm gonna do is let down on my deck lid. It actually looks like it'll latch. So the only thing I know to do is to drill the 2 holes and mount the bottom part with some screws. I might use some self-tapping screws in it for right now because I may have to move it around a little bit and see if this thing will latch and if we can get the trunk lid to pull in flush like it's supposed to. But let me screw that in and see what happens with that, see if it'll latch. All this stuff is just trial and error because, like I say, none of this went with the car. So all this is aftermarket stuff, even the latch on the deck lid. So let's give that a shot. That bit's getting dull. I'm gonna have to get another one as far as a step bit. I'm gonna just drill the 2 holes right now just to see what it does. All right, now it's the moment of truth. Well, that worked out pretty good, better than I thought it would. I still got to put my rubber bumpers and stuff up under the deck lid back here at the back where I can get it to square the trunk lid up for us, the height here and here. But it's still pretty close just to be roughed in like that. We got extremely lucky on that one. So I reckon I can go ahead and drill this hole here and bolt it in, and we'll try it again. let's see. Take that back out, the other two screws, and run the bigger bit through that hole. So you can see right there, that's where, I guess you can see, but right there's where the indention was to drill that latch. So that shows you how far off this aftermarket stuff is. I'm gonna bend that latch, bend this over just a little bit, because what it's gonna do, it's not shaped the same as this, so it's going to end up bending this piece. So instead I'm gonna bend this piece here over to make it fit better. All right guys, I got that bent. It's more now the shape of this piece right here. So we're gonna bolt it in. Now let's see if anything changed. And it did. So let me loosen it back up and we'll try it again. I got a feeling what I'm gonna have to do is make a shim to go under the bottom of this to kick the back of it up just a little bit, because it almost latched, but it was pulling down too tight. So also the other thing I could do is bend this, but I believe it'd be easier just to do the shim. So what I'm gonna do to start with is just put 2 flat washers under it, under each screw, see what that does, and if that works, then I'll come back and make a shim for it, the full width of it, and put it in. All right guys, I got this piece here mounted. I just put 4 little flat washers up under it, real thin ones, for like a machine screw or whatever. So I'll take that thickness there and measure it to see how thick of a spacer, and I'll make a spacer to the width of that latch with the 2 holes in it and bolt it back in to get that. But here's the trunk lid with it latched. It fits pretty good right there. I need to get my trunk lid, the bolt that comes with these aftermarket hinges or whatever is a regular bolt, and they machine some of the threads off the end of it that actually sticks into the trunk lid sides. So there's still a little bit of thread there, and it's letting my trunk lid may not be able to slide it over enough. So I'm gonna work on that now. And we're getting close as far as making this thing fit. I got to go here in the corner, and right here I got to cut those little tabs off. I'm gonna make this piece here fit back in here, and I'll probably drill holes and riv nut this here together where I can put screws in it, and then riv nut the floor to be able to bolt this piece here to the floor. But we're getting close making it fit. It's surprising that it's went this good, other than these holes here were off or whatever, but it's coming around. So let me see if I can get this piece here fitting, cut these tabs right here off, get this piece here to fit, mark it, cut it off, and we'll see if we can get the holes drilled and everything for this thing to bolt back together. That way it'll finish off this side of that panel. It'll look smooth. All right, let me see what we can do with that. All right, guys, there's my holes for my riv nuts where I got my marks. Where I had my sheet metal screws here, that'll be my riv nuts on this part. So let me get everything drilled and get all my riv nuts in, and then we'll install this piece. All right, guys, I got all my riv nuts in. I've already done this panel here. put my rib nuts in that one. So should be just to slide it up. All right, guys, there it is with the panel in the back of the car. See if you can see it. Let me see how I installed it. But everything's working on it now. But like I say, I'm gonna go here in these corners, and I haven't made up my mind yet what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna tie this in to where the water will run here and run in, where it won't go into the car. And like I said, I'm gonna drill holes in the side, and I'm gonna weld tubes to this panel and where the water will run out the bottom of the car on both sides. And then before I paint it, I'll seam seal all this stuff real good, and that way water won't get inside the car. It shouldn't. But that's the way I put it in. Not saying that's right or wrong, but it's in there, and everything seems to work. So let me shut this thing. Trying to do it with my shoulder, it's kind of hard. But there it is. Still got to move my trunk lid. The gap's a little bit tight on this side, a little bit loose on this side, so I'm gonna go in there and modify them bolts just a little bit. Like I said, they got threads on them. It's like a bolt. They turn the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 threads off of it to make that hinge piece. So I'm gonna go there and smooth them threads up on the ends where that trunk lid, I can slide it over. But guys, that's the way I put mine in. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's in, and it works. And also, guys, the reason I wanted this panel cut like this and screwed in, I wanted it where I haven't made up my mind yet on what kind of taillights I'm gonna run. And if I put my taillight in these panels right here, if I cut the panel and put my tail lights in it. If I ever need to get to the back side now, I can take just this panel out and be able to get in there to where my tail lights and my wiring and stuff's at. So that was the reason that I wanted it done like this, because I didn't want to have to take everything back out, and it's just too much. This here would have made it a lot easier to get in there to, if I need to my tail lights and all. All right, guys, that's it for this video. When I decide what I'm gonna do here and I fix this part, I'll show you in another video or something. I'm not gonna do a video on just making that little gutter. I mean, there's not much to that, but anyway, I appreciate you watching. If this is your first time here, how about subscribing if you like what we're doing, and like and share. And guys, we'll check you on the next one. Later.